Dr. Amanda Stirk here with Unmaze.me. So glad that you can join me on this session of becoming a T-shaped student. Now, a lot of parents and students have this belief that a student needs to be well-rounded. They have a little bit of community service, they have a little bit of, more rigorous coursework, they have a little bit of extracurriculars, and maybe a nice story behind them, a good essay, and that's going to guarantee them into college admissions. It's not. That is a myth. What college admissions is looking for right now is what they call a T-shaped student. And I have talked with hundreds of admissions representatives. I have been on multiple campuses all throughout the country. And what I have found is what they're looking for is a student that has what they call a T-shape. So if you think at the top here, that is really a student that engages with their community, that they have critical thinking, they have time management, that they want to get involved, that they are a vital member of the university community. So that's kind of those, what we call the soft skills, or those personal attributes. They want to see that you are going to come on their campus and not just stay in your dormitory, and that you're going to get out and that you're going to be involved on the campus, on the college campus. So part of your recommendations and part of your application really wants to showcase some of those terms. Like I said, collaboration, critical thinking, team player, those type of things. The other piece to the T, the bottom piece, is to have some depth about you that showcases your passions. What do you want to be when you grow up? And what are you doing right now in high school to get there? So for example, I had a student recently who was trying to get into some very selective schools. And I looked at her resume and I said, who are you? What do you want to become? And she's like, well, and then she told me, well, but on her resume, it showed nothing. She was in a completely different pathway than what she was trying to go for with her major. So what does that bottom T look like? Well, there's several things that you can do. So first of all, one of the things, I'm going to scroll down here, so don't mind me looking at it. You want to consider growth before grade. Now, a lot of times students are concerned that, oh, what if I don't get an A in that class? Or what if I don't do well in that subject? Because I know the teacher is really hard, but I'm really passionate about it. So for example, if you're going to be a doctor, and if I was looking at your resume and your transcript, I would see that you at least tried and succeeded in a course like an AP biology or a dual enrollment biology course, and that you tried to take those courses even though they were maybe a little bit more difficult. A college admissions would much rather you have a B in that coursework than not do it at all and just take the regular course. So it's okay to take some risk, and so you really want to take risk and you want to triumph. There was a course I had in college, and my parents, I don't know if they ever knew this, but I actually got a D in accounting. One, I realized I was not going to be a finance accounting major, but two, I retook the course and I ended up getting a B. But I worked so hard for that B because I wanted to get that D off my transcript. And so even though I knew I wasn't going to go be an accountant, I took the risk, I really tried hard, and I eventually have succeeded in doing that. The second thing is kind of extending on that conversation is making sure that you have specialized coursework. Now, a lot of schools have a lot of different courses available to you. I was looking at a student's transcript the other day, and they had all these fluff classes. They had weightlifting, they had art, they had drama, which is great if you're going to be an artist or you're interested in drama and that's one of your passions. He wasn't. He wanted to be something completely different in the sciences. So I asked him, why are you taking all these fluff classes? They don't mean anything. And he was like, oh yeah, I guess I understand that. So one of the things that you definitely need to do is on your transcript, you need to showcase what you're passionate about and what you're interested in. You're kind of starting to gear towards that major, your career choice. So you need to show what you're interested in. Now, some of you might be from a small school that's very limited on what courses they offer. However, what you can use, especially over the summer, there's all these free courses, and sometimes at college level, from MIT, from Berkeley, from Harvard, from University of Pennsylvania, University of Chicago. They're all out there for free. So look at programs this summer like Coursera, edX, Allison, Udemy, but basically you can take these courses online for free and really start developing some of those passions on your own. So there's some topics like coding, medical neuroscience, business, psychology. So if you can't get stuff at your school, but make sure you talk to your school counselor, because there are courses and there's ways around it. So be sure you ask about AP, dual enrollment, IB. Maybe there's some online courses that you can take. Like here in Florida, we do Florida Virtual School. So be sure to ask about those. If they don't have them, or you want more specific courses, definitely try some of those online coursework here that I have listed right here on that article. The next thing is I would consider some internships and volunteer opportunities. Now, this internship is not working for Dad over the summer, which, yes, it's great filing some papers, but it really should be in your field of choice. If you're going to go into veterinary science, why don't you call up the Humane Society or call up a vet clinic that's down the road and see if you can work with them. I'll give you an example. I had a student I worked with last year who wanted to build boats. He wants to be a kind of an oceanographer, boat engineer. And so he was going to go to this expensive program up in the Northeast, and they just couldn't afford it. And so I said, hey, let's make some phone calls. So we called around to some boat builders, I guess Googled it, and there were about 2 or 3 in our local area. We're on the Gulf Coast, so it's kind of easier. And so we talked around, and we had a company that was interested in having him on board, and he spent like over 200 hours over the summer doing exactly what he wanted, building boats. Now that student probably got about 3 or 4 different full ride to multiple universities throughout Florida, and he's not paying a dime for college. He's actually getting money back. And I believe that experience for him really solidified his major and what he intended to do, but also really stood out to those college admissions and those scholarship committees. So definitely make sure that you call around, you ask, but do something that's in your field or that you're interested in. Second, get a part-time job. Working at Publix, working at Chick-fil-A, working at Tropical Smoothie, that shows admissions that you are good at time management, you're responsible, that you understand taxes, because you're going to have taxes and Social Security, and that, you're dependable, and that you're willing to work hard. Those aren't easy jobs. And so making sure to use that time, if you have available, for part-time jobs. Also, for a lot of families, that extra income from a student is very beneficial because they need it. Maybe they're a low-income family. On a college application, you can talk about that. Why did I work so hard instead of maybe doing other extracurricular activities? The last thing that I really suggest to do is extracurricular activities. Now, your school and your community has tons of things going on all the time, so you definitely need to make sure that you tap into those. I had a student recently that was going for a theater major, and the college admission person called me up and they go, "Really, theater? She's never taken a theater class." So if those opportunities are available to you at your school, and if they're not, check in your local community to find out how you could really enhance those skills that you already have. So that could be sports, it could be martial arts, it could be art, theater, debate, technology. There's tons of things that you can do. And if they don't have it at your school, try to create something. That word founder or president are really beneficial. So to add to that, one of the things that I really suggest is when you find your passion, stick with it. So if there's a program you really like, admissions would rather you do it for 2, 3, 4 years than having 20 different little things all over the place. They would rather see that the leadership, the contribution, and that you're committed to just a few activities and a few things rather than just trying to jam it all in and get it all involved. Be strategic, plan accordingly, and make sure that you check out more of my website and more of my YouTube channel. If not, make sure that you send in for a newsletter, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Again, Dr. Amanda Stirk with unmaze.me. Check me out. We'll talk soon. Take care.